This week, Phase 5 of the MCU begins, y'all. So I'll be going to see AntMan tomorrow, which is Wednesday the 15th. I will have a non-spoiler review up and then a spoiler review up on Thursday night after most of you have seen the film. Phase 5 begins. I have this article here from Entertainment Weekly I want to go into. It is from the MCU mastermind himself, Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige opens about Phase 5, Kang, and the future of the MCU. There's some Spider-Man talk here as well I want to get to for Spider-Man 4, because I did do a video last week about these rumors about what's going to happen in Spider-Man 4. So let me go into this article real quick. I want to ignore most of this stuff. It's just the introduction to the article. Kevin Feige, we're going to start right here. Kevin Feige, 49, teases Marvel's future plans from the villainous Kang the Conqueror to the long-awaited introduction of the Fantastic Four. So they're asking him why he chose to start Kang with Ant-Man, even though Kang really started in Loki. We wanted to kick off Phase 5 with a team of heroes that you already know. We knew that if we were going to do another Ant-Man film, it was always an idea to spend the majority of the time in the quantum realm, this place you've heard about in various movies and seen glimpses of. We wanted to actually explore it. When we were making the earlier films, we saw the visuals of the quantum realm, like, see that back there, that's a city. See that over there, that's a whole civilization. We were hoping that one day we could explore more of it. Yeah, I noticed that too. I did notice like the cities and whatnot in the background of the quantum realm. For years, we've always had the inkling that Kang would be an amazing follow-up to Thanos. He's got that equal stature in the comics, but he's a completely different villain. Mainly that because he's multiple villains. He's so unique from Thanos, which we really liked. Yeah, that's been the kind of the concern is, are they going to really be able to top Thanos? Because Thanos was a very special villain. Josh Brolin did a great job playing him, but now here we have Kang. In the early days of Quantum Mania, Jonathan started to pop in a big way. He's the highest testing villain we've ever had in any of our friends and families. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about him in Ant-Man. That's really saying something with a movie like this. Even early on, without the effects, Jonathan is his own effect. Nice. He was working from the start. It's always one of the fun rolls of the dice that we do at Marvel, which is to say, hey, we're going to make multiple movies around this character, and we're going to start before the audience has even had a chance to meet him. We really go all in on these ideas. In this casting, it was a big relief when the season ender of Loki season 1 happened. People really seemed to be on board for Kang. People are chanting Kang when Jonathan goes on talk shows. They haven't even seen him in the movie yet. It's true, man. The hype behind Kang is big. Jonathan Majors has big shoes to fill, but the dude is a good actor. So he talks about basically like how good Jonathan Majors was because of Last Black Man in San Francisco. That's an interesting. I haven't seen that film yet, but I've heard of it. That's an interesting perspective. So moving on here, I know that you're calling Phase 4 and 5 the multiverse saga, all leading up to 2025's Avengers, Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars. How are you thinking about Phase 5 specifically? Is there a through line or general theme? It's really classification system for the audience that's following along. It's to keep track of how the pieces fit in place. I didn't really talk a lot about the overarching themes or direction of Phase 4 until afterward, in large part because we're always adapting and weaving as creative demands and new ideas come up. Yeah, but you got to be careful with that because the longer this goes, the more it can contradict the old stuff. You know what I mean? That's what we're worried about, having plot holes, which, I mean, there's already a small handful of them in here, but not enough to really go crazy over, in my opinion. It's about setting up the big overarching thread that will go throughout the next phases, which is pretty much what they're going to do in Quantum Mania. He says, not every film in the Infinity Saga focus on the Infinity Stones or Thanos. It'll be the same for Phase 5 and 6, but we're gearing up. People will get a taste of this in a big way in Quantum Mania as we lead into Avengers Secret Wars, which I'm extremely excited for. 23 years at Marvel. Let me get to the SpiderMan stuff here, y'all. So they're talking about Kamala Khan and Miss Marvel. I'm just kind of skimming this for you guys. The Marvels comes out this July because she's in the movie. I guess they're saying she's really good in the movie in the Marvels coming up. I have to make sure I watch Miss Marvel before then because that's gonna be important. Fun thing about streaming is they are there forever. People can keep up with exploring them. Moon Knight, same thing. The future for that character to move forward. I do think powerful aspects of being Marvel Studios, having these films and shows hit the zeitgeist. It's harder to hit the zeitgeist when there's so much product out there and so much content, as they say, which is a word that I hate. I mean, it's content, man. I understand where he's coming from, but you know, it is what it is. All right, this is all, I don't know, Baskin Robbins. Hey, sorry about that, y'all. I had to cough, and I wanted to cough off stream or off recording or whatever. I didn't want to like cough in front of you guys. It was actually a pretty bad cough. I had something stuck in my throat. But moving on, it talks about She-Hulk and how they wanted to try something different. Ultimately, that show wound up being a big waste of time, if you ask me. First half was fun, in my opinion, but then it just fell off a cliff. And then he goes on to talk about how some fans like to do the homework. When they see an MCU movie, they then go to the comic book shop to find out more about the characters. And that's always been like that. Always. Going back to like the X-Men cartoon and the X-Men movie, like people get into the comic because of the other medium, which is why it's important. So he talks about embracing television and talks about, you know, with basically with you know, with Disney Plus. He talks about how Lost was a big influence, which was the old J.J. Abrams series Lost, which, I mean, that was a big show when it was around. That was a huge show. It's funny because he talks about how people are producing 8-hour movies, which, you know, I guess you could say that about Falcon and Winter Soldier, the Disney Plus show. It did kind of feel like a big movie, you know. He talks about Star Trek and the Next Generation. There's Kamala Khan. I haven't seen that yet, but I'm going to. So he talks about the Phase 4 mutants. Namor and Kamala Khan are both explicitly referred to as mutants. What can you tell us about how mutants and the X-Men may or may not play into the future? So here we go with the X-Men stuff. You know, I think I've said the word once. Kamala laughs about a Kamala talks about genetic mutation, and Namor refers to himself as a mutant among his own people. And mutant is a real genetic term, not a comic book term. But part of the fun is that I've been at this company for half my life, and we're just now tapping into arguably one of the biggest aspects of the publishing history, which is true. The X-Men is massive. It's remarkable, and it's a testament to the hours of ideas and what Marvel Publishing has done these last 80 years. The question is how to do it and when to do it. And that's something we've been working on for years. I don't think we're going to see that many mutants in Phase 4 and 5. I think maybe Phase 6 and 7, maybe we'll see more. But I think the way he's talking, it's almost like they're holding off on really bringing in like a lot of mutants. He talks about Hugh Jackman coming back for Deadpool 3, which is within the MCU, our first R-rated film. Hugh's comeback is incredible for me. That's where I started. I remember sitting behind the camera, well behind the camera, at his audition for the film. Yeah, he was I think he was one of the producers of the Bryan Singer X-Men movie. So he's been around even before he was the lead of the MCU. And it's crazy because he talks about 23 years, and now we're here. He talks about James Gunn leaving and going to work on Superman. Okay, so they're talking about the Marvels here. He goes on to say, the Marvels, Brie Larson's Carol, Iman Vellani's Kamala, and Teyonah Parris's Monica. Yeah, Monica Rambeau will definitely be there. You know, it's picking up directly after the end of Captain Marvel 1, not in timeline, but in story. Okay, so it's not like in 1995, but it's a present day story. We also do that in our upcoming Disney Plus series, Secret Invasion, and those are two very different follow-ups to the movie. Tonally, they couldn't be more different, but there's something immensely powerful about seeing Monica, Kamala, and Carol together in frame. To me, it's only akin to the first Avengers movie, seeing the six of them together in frame. It's chill-inducing. They're so great together, and they all have different histories with one another. Now, they go on to ask him about Captain America: New World Order and Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford. You know, Harrison Ford is taking over, you know, as Ross, as Thunderbolt Ross. And then he talk about he was a president in Clear and Present Danger, like the same idea. There's a dynamic between President Ross and Sam Wilson. They have a history together. This has been a dream for years since Jon Favreau cast Harrison Ford in Cowboys and Aliens. I was always very jealous of that. So to have him finally in the MCU is incredible. It's like I crossed that off the wish list. Thunderbolts in the works for 2024. Got a lot of things started shooting relatively soon. What's fun about that, and I sort of said this at D23, is that they are barely heroes. Yeah, I do like that about Thunderbolts. They're almost like the MCU's version of the Suicide Squad. Not quite as like bad, but they're just like, rejects. When your de facto leader is Bucky Barnes, that's sort of all you need to know. That's the trickle down. But again, it goes to the amazing work that casting director Serafin has done across the MCU. We got David Harbour and Florence Pugh and these people who are at the top of their game and popping in everything they're doing. Yeah, from Black Widow. The Blade movie with Mahershala Ali. And they're talking about the directing in Atlanta. The camera's going to roll soon. Okay, here we go. Spider-Man. Here we go. You mentioned Tom Holland's Peter Parker Spider-Man No Way Home was such a huge hit. And I know Marvel Studios has the deal with Sony regarding the character. Do you have any updates on when we might be seeing Peter Parker again? All I will say is that we have a story. We have big ideas for that. And our writers are putting it to paper now. So that's the same thing I was reported last week, that they do have a story in mind for Spider-Man 4. It may or may not feature Miles Morales. That was the rumor. And if they already have a story in mind, then it wouldn't surprise me if that story did leak as it actually being Miles Morales. You know what I mean? Is it too soon to bring him in? Maybe. I kind of would have liked a separate Miles Morales franchise, like Spider-Man and then like a Miles Morales Spider-Man. You have to call it something else. But maybe they're going to do this as a springboard to that. I'm not really sure. So they're talking about Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio in the new Daredevil show, which, man, I really hope that they're going to do well. They're experimenting with it. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I really don't know how I feel about it. And talk about Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty related to Quantum Mania. Fantastic Four is the foundation of everything that came after the comics. There's certainly been versions of it on screen, the old 2004 film and 2015 film, but never inhabiting the storytelling of the MCU. And that's something that's really exciting for us. People will start to hear more about that soon. We plan on being a big pillar of the MCU going forward. On that being a big pillar, the way they've been the comics 50, 60 years. So the Fantastic Four are going to be a big deal. Are they still relevant, though? I think that Kevin Feige, if anybody, has the power to. Anyways, y'all, if you want to read the whole article, it's on Entertainment Weekly. I'll leave a link down below. I am, for one, interested in that Spider-Man 4 stuff, what they do with Fantastic Four, because really, as a kid, the cartoons that aired XMen, Spider-Man, and then of course the Marvel Magic Hour, Iron Man, Fantastic Four, and the Incredible Hulk also aired as cartoons. But the X-Men, I mean, that's my shit, man. So I'm excited. Anyways, y'all, see you tomorrow for the AntMan review. Take care.